We start with filtration step 2, or part 2 now of the filtration. We started first with filtration part 1. We give an idea about the filtration process, the types of filter media used, and the characteristic of each type, and how we select these types of filter medium. Then we continued with requirements of filter media to be used. Before we start any process, any filtration process, we have to know first that we have two types of filtration: non-sterile filtration and sterile filtration. And we have to know the requirements of these processes. Means, first of all, we have to know the physicochemical property of the media to be used. We have to know the particle size which we want to remove, and we have to know the pore size, the suitable pore size of the medium which is suitable to remove such particle size. And another important thing is that the aim of the process, whether we have sterile or non-sterile filtration. We go first with non-sterile filtration. For non-sterile filtration, the quality is very important. The quality, يعني معناها الفلترات المفروض يكون clear. Either we have cake filtration or clarification. In both cases, we have to have a good quality. Therefore, certain requirements should be considered before we start this one. First of all, the type of media to be used. In order to get clear filtrate, we have to check the particle size of the slurry. If the particle size between 30 to 40 microns, then it can be seen by the eye. If it is 5 to 10 microns, then it is easily to be seen by microscope. But if the particle size below 5 microns, then we have to measure it by what's called nanometer value. What do we mean by nanometer value? It's a quantitative value for measuring the degree of light scattering, which is the Tyndall effect, in a dilute suspension by employing a light beam, and then a light detector detects the light scattering. It is used to compare between different media and select the best one. طبعا هذا إلنا نستخدمه فقط للparticle size which are below 5 microns. Another important point is we have to calculate the time required for filtration to be completed. What does it mean? It means if we have a large volume, عادة in industrial processes we have a large volume, so it takes a long time. فلازم نعرف تقريبيا انه ايش قد الوقت اللي احتاجه حتى اخلص هاي الفوليوم الكبيرة اللي قد تكون احجامها بالاف الالتار. So the time required for a filtration cycle determined by total volume versus time. During a test run at a pressures approximating normal operating conditions. نحن نعرف انه بالشغل مالتنا الفلتريشن اندستري نستخدم البريشر. So we have to know اذا نثبت كل الريكوايرمنتس والضغط اللي راح نستخدمه لازم نحسب how much time. So the total we draw a curve, then log the volume of the filtrate هذا اللي على يمينكم versus log the time. فنحسب اذا كان عندي اخذ 100 ملليلتر ايش قد احتاج. مثلا احتاج الزيرو تايم ينزل لي مثلا 10 مل وهكذا. ايش قد كل ما يزيد الوقت راح يزيد الفوليوم فلتر الى ان نوصل الى طبعا هذا this is a straight relationship. طبعا هنا بشرط انه ما صار عندي بلوك. ما صار عندي بلوك من يوقف معناه خلصنا لهنا هذا اكثر شيء يقدر ينزل. صار عندي بلوك at this time. So the flow rate decreases with time as the media plugs or as cake builds up. من يصير بلوك يعني تنسد، تدخل المسامات تنسد أو تتجمع طبقة كبيرة من الكيك. So the filter media will be blocked. ذاك الوقت راح يوقف أو يقل. If the filter area of production equipment is fixed, then time to filter a given batch size may be estimated. نثبت كل الأمور ذاك الوقت راح نعرف. إذا أنا راح أبدي بسمول size، then أسوي extrapolation. إذا أنا عندي مثلا 100 لتر فأسوي extrapolation، أعرف تقريبا إيش قد التايم required for this process to be finished. هذه طبعا يعطينا فكرة أولية، بس هي مو شرط هي التايم الحقيقي. Now, another thing is the estimation of non-productive time. شنو يعني non-productive time? In semi-continuous operation, determination of the length of the cycle should be prior to shutdown for replacement of media. So if the goal is maximal output from the filter per unit over all time, the graphic approach is applicable. يعني أرسم هنا curve between the time and the filtrate volume. As we know that as the time is increased, the flow rate is the volume of the filtrate obtained is increased until we reach a certain point. تشوفون هاي النقطة، certain point where there is a block. The filtration or the volume of the filtrate is decreased, started to decrease with time. راح تبدي تنزل. ليش؟ لأن صار عندنا بلوك أو صار عندي طبقة كبيرة من الكيك. إذا أرسم مماس لهذا القول اللي راح ينزل، إذا راح يطلع خارج الإكس أكسس من جهة اليسار يسموه تي برايم. هذه المسافة من صفر إلى تي برايم this is called non-productive time. What does it mean? It means that it is the time required to clean the filter and replace the media. يعني احنا من نوصل هيك فقرة يبدي يقل الفلو ريت we have to stop the filtration، نفتح السكرو كلها، نفتح الميديا ناخذها نروح نغسلها وننظفها إذا هي reusable again, and then we can fix the system again and start the filtration process. هذا ايش قد ياخذ وقت؟ because this is called non-productive time. يعني احنا ما نسوي filtration، كل ما هنا نقدر نحاول ان نرجع الفلتريشن steady state filtration rate. فبالتالي بدنا نغسل ونرتب الامور. so this is non-productive time. So during productive time T هذا يسموه الأصلي the filter discharge a clear filter rate at a steadily decreasing rate. Non-productive time اللي هو T prime, this is the time required to clean the filter and replace. So for non-productive time, T prime is closer to the left of the origin of a volume versus time curve. So during this non-productive time, the time is lost in cleaning and it is offset، يعني برا الشغل، برا الوقت المطلوب، الحجم أو الوقت المطلوب للفلتريشن is offset by a return to high filtration rate associated with the new media. طبعا this is very important. كل ما يكون هذا non-productive time يكون أقصر كل ما يكون أحسن، يعني معناها أنه الوركرز اللي هناك هم يشتغلون بهمة، لأن هذا هنا non-productive time it will add a cost، راح يعتبر كل تنظيفون على السوليوشن to be filtered، فكل ما يكون أقصر كل ما يكون أفضل. We will talk about course training operation اللي هي course training أو filtration نفس الشيء. The evaluation of course شنو يعني course؟ يعني خشنة، مواد الخشنة. The evaluation of course filtration operations is limited to sizing a filter that will not have excessive pressure drop. If the amount of impurity is usually small and continuous operation does not significantly decrease filter capacity. It is applied for metal cartridge filters, either woven mesh or edge type, and porous sintered stainless steel have replaced these clothes in most pharmaceutical applications. For example, filtering suspensions containing gums or other viscous ingredients can be accomplished with self-cleaning edge filters. These suspensions frequently bridge the media and cleaning devices are needed to maintain adequate flow. احنا حكينا مسبقا هذه الكورس تريننج هي اللي بنكون عندي لارج بارتيكل سايز نسويها بشكل مستعجل، يعني يسموها بري فلتريشن ستيب، حتى نشيل الاشياء الخشنه اللي هي ممكن انها تسد بسرعه الفلتر ميديا. and then we can refilter again باستخدام الفلترز الاخرى اللي هي اكثر اصغر pore size حتى نحصل على سرعه مناسبه للفلتريشن بروسيس. Now, sterile filtration. Generally, sterile filtration means that the microorganisms, and we have many types of filter media can be used for sterile filtration. Filtration used to clarify and sterilize pharmaceutical solutions that are heat labile. Different types of filter media were used. We can use porcelain candles and the asbestos fat membrane media. But such type of media has disadvantage that it requires extensive cleaning and a fragile medium, تنكسر بسرعة. But its advantage that it has a high flow rate through use of multiple elements manifold. Asbestos pad also can be used, but this has a lot of disadvantages that it has a significant absorption and adsorption properties for many alkaloids and glycosides. There may be chemical and physical changes, so we need to pre-wash, and pH changes may happen. They may cause precipitation or hydrolysis of the drug, and after sterilization, fragments of asbestos fiber may appear in the filtrate. ممكن نستخدم احنا الاسبستوس ولكن بها many disadvantages. من أهم disadvantages with asbestos that it can absorb and adsorb some alkaloids and glycosides، فما نقدر نستخدمها للفلتريشن of these compounds. ونفس الوقت ممكن يصير pH changes يرسب أو يحلل الدرج. And also fragments may appear in the filtrate. Fragments يعني تنزل خيوط من عند الاسبستوس pads, and this is not good. The best one to be used is the membrane filter. Become the basic tool in the preparation of sterile solutions and have been officially approved by USD and FDA. Since they don't have disadvantages of porcelain candles and asbestos pads that are no longer considered media of choice for sterile filtration. These membrane filters that has advantage that first of all permits the selection, so absorption effects are negligible, and ionic or particulate contaminant or contamination not occur. It requires no treatment، يعني ما نحتاج نسوي refiltration ونرجع نشتغل على الممبرين. And can be autoclaved or gas sterilized after assembly in each holder. ممكن نسوي sterilization لأن احنا راح نسوي sterile filtration. But it has disadvantages that although membranes with porosity rating of 0.2 to 0.45 micron are specified for sterile filtrations, but porosity with this range may clog rapidly. And the pre-filter is used to remove some colloidal matter to extend the filtration cycle. عادة للستيرايل filtration لما أريد أشيل كل أنواع المايكرو أورجانيزم أستخدم 0.2 micron. That can remove all the types of microorganisms, even the spores. 0.45 microns, this can remove all the type of microorganisms except Pseudomonas. Pseudomonas aeruginosa, this is a large particle, a large size of microorganism. فما يقدر تعبر من خلالها. بعد احنا ليش ما نستخدم من البداية 0.2 microns? If we use for every solution to be sterilized 0.2 microns, the filtration rate is very slow, كلش بطيئة. So the FDA allows the use of 0.45 microns filter only in cases of colloidal solution in which 0.2 micron filters have been shown to block very rapidly and not used for Pseudomonas. يعني إذا أشيت أول مرة المحلول مالتي أجي نزرعه. إذا بي Pseudomonas أستخدم 0.2 microns، ما عندنا خيار آخر. بس إذا ما بي Pseudomonas, it's not contaminated with Pseudomonas، أروح أستخدم 0.45 microns because it has more rapid process. Membrane filtration applied in high viscosity or abnormal contaminant levels are the primary filtrate to the use of membranes. Need pre-filtration before membrane. Oil and viscous aqueous solvent, if it is not affected by heat, it is usually sterilized by heat. Otherwise, it is filtered by membrane. بمعنى إذا أنا عندي viscous solution or oil شلون نسوي له filtration؟ نسخن حتى يحسن الفلتريشن. Now, if it is sensitive to heat, then we have to filter it by membrane filter. لأنه هذه ما نستخدم بها حرارة. بس بهالحالة حتى أسوي filtration for viscous aqueous solvent لازم أسوي له dilution لأن حتى كلش بطيئة. Paraffin oil heating to reduce viscosity then filtered to 2.2 micron membrane. إذا عندي oil أسخن وبعدين أسوي له filtration ب 0.2. فراح تشوفون إنه الأويلي الفيسكس عادة أسوي dilution، وإذا ما قدرت أسوي dilution بهالحالة لازم أعرضها للحرارة if it is not sensitive to heat. الأويلي ماتيريال كذلك إما نعرضها للحرارة if the oil is sensitive to heat then we can dilute it. Then after that we filter it with 0.2 micron. For IV solutions of ophthalmic and other aqueous products they are filtered directly through membrane. هذول بكل سهولة. وأكثر شيء يستخدمون لهم ذكنا بالسترايل ophthalmic or IV solutions. For heat labile oils and liquid containing proteins, this requires treatment. For example, centrifugation or conventional filtration prior to sterilizing filtration to remove any gross contamination that would rapidly flood the final membrane. Additive proteins, they are very sensitive to heat, easily denatured. With biotechnological products, with vaccines وغيرها, we cannot filter it by using heat or pressure filter that producing heat. So that's why we have to do it what? We have to do centrifugation, conventional filtration idea بدون sterilization. مجرد نشيل large particles and then we do sterile filtration by membrane filter. لأنه يصير كلش بطيء الفلتريشن إذا بدينا بالممbrane filtration directly. Difficult materials such as blood fractions demand serial filtrations through successively fine membranes. بالنسبة للبلد products هذولي لا، لازم أسوي سلسلة من الممبرين filtration إلى أن أوصل بالأخير very fine membrane filter. Now, selecting of membrane filtration system for sterilization, we have many steps to be done before we select the right one. First of all, we check the general properties of the membrane filter. ناخذ membrane filter قبل ما نبدي بالشغل، نخليه بيكر ونحط بيه المحلول مالتنا اللي نريد نفلتره ونشوف check the pH. إذا ما صار تغيير بالبي اتش يعني الممبرين فلتر ما قدر أن يغير البي اتش مال المحلول المالتي اللي يريد أفلتر، وهذا مهم. clarity ما نزل من عنده filaments or fragments. concentration of drug يعني هذا الممبرين منطق ما قدر يسوي absorption or adsorption for some of the drug فما غير الكونسنتريشن. إذا كل هاي الأمور مشت صح إذا this is a good membrane filter. هذه أول خطوة. الخطوة الثانية قبل ما نبدي بالفلتريشن we have to check the porosity of the membrane filter and this is called integrity test. شنو يعني porosity? We know the membrane filter consists of many pores. These pores they should have a certain size and a uniform size distribution. يعني كل البورز الموجودة بالفلتر membrane it should have the same size, the same pore size, and it should be as it is written on its leaflet. يعني من يقول 0.2 في فعلا 0.2 microns we have to check. Upon storage, these membrane filters, some of them may be damaged or cracked or open. قسم من البورز تنفتح تكبر نتيجة الخزن لفترات طويلة وظروف حرارية مختلفة. So before we start membrane filter, we have to check the porosity. This is very important point. It's called integrity test. So this integrity, or sometimes it's called safety test. Felen, it's a safety test because we have a sterile filtration, so we have to check very good test, and then we have to decide which membrane is a good one or not. So integrity safety testing is an important feature of a filtration system. We have to check its ability to be tested for integrity before, after, and during each filtration, especially in sterile filtration, where a few microorganisms passing through a crack in the filter could be disastrous. إذا هاي العملية الانتجريتي تيست أو تشيك البورosity of the membrane we have to do it before we start the membrane حتى نتأكد من السايز. During the operation أثناء الشغل أما نطفي ونطلع ونشيك مرة أخرى لأن نحن نسلط ضغط احتمال بعض of these pores will be cracked ويقوم يعبر المايكرو أورجانيزم. And after we finish ورا ما نخلص واحنا الممبرين هذا we are going to reuse it again نغسله ونستخدمه مرة ثانية. فنغسله ونشيك porosity test ونرجع نستعمله مرة أخرى. So we have to do this integrity test before, during and after each filtration cycle. An integrity test it is a non-destructive test. عشان non-destructive يعني ما يتلف الممبرين. Non-destructive test. It is used to predict the functional performance of filter. The common integrity test used to predict the performance of the filter is bubble point test, diffusion test, and forward flow test. It is done prior and during filtration, as you said. The integrity test to detect damaged membrane, ineffective seals, or system leak. طبعا هنا مو فقط البورز هي المهمة فقط وإنما احنا بدنا نسلط ضغط ممكن أي ليك بالبريشر يعني احنا ما مسوين sealing جيد للسكروز for this apparatus. We lose some of the pressure in filtration toggle. Now, we do it also after filtration to confirm that the filter is still intact and that the system is remaining leak-free throughout the run. هذه بعض الصور للأجهزة اللي بتستخدم بالانتيجريتي تيست. Bubble point test. Membrane filters have discrete uniform passages that penetrate from one side of the media to the other. Can be regarded as fine, uniform capillary. So each pore is considered as a capillary. لو تطلعون هنا بالجهة اليمين من هنا each pore is a capillary tube. هذه كل واحدة منها similar to the capillary tube. So the liquid enter to this pore and just like the capillary tube it will form what's called a curved one similar or due to the surface tension, exactly similar to what's going on in a capillary. Now, the bubble point test is based on the fact that when these capillaries are filled or with liquid, the liquid is held by surface tension. The minimum pressure required to force the liquid out of these capillaries must be sufficient to overcome the surface tension. يعني بمعنى لازم يسلط ضغط يقدر يقاوم هذا السيرفيس تنشن الموجود داخل البور حتى يقدر يخترق حتى يقدر يعبر الليكويد. So capillary pressure is higher in case of small pores than in that of large ones. The same is true for pores in a membrane. Look at this one. So this is a capillary. It will form just like similar to the surface tension. طبعا هاي pore. So each pore is considered as a capillary tube. There is a surface tension that resists the passage of the liquid. And then to overcome this resistance, we have to apply pressure. But the pressure should be as minimum to overcome this surface tension so the filtration can go on. The bubble point pressure is governed by the following equation. P equal K for gamma cosine theta over G. P is the bubble point pressure. K is the shear correction factor. P is the pore diameter. Gamma is the surface tension of the liquid. And theta is liquid to membrane contact angle. It is the angle of wetting. A bubble test runs during after filtration as an in-process control. للأسف هنا الصورة ما تبين كبرتها بس صارت oversized. Anyway, this is what you see to the left. This is the system, and in the middle there is a membrane, and these are the screws which hold the system together. Through this membrane, this one is connected to a cylinder where there is a gas. from which a pressure is supplied in air. This is to apply pressure for this membrane. Now, before we start the air pressure, the filter membrane is wetted. قبل ما نبدي نسوي integrity test. احنا هنا ما نسوي filtration, just check the membrane. So the filter membrane is wetted, نبللها. Then after wetting and venting the unit, since the pores are full of liquid, there is no passage of gas at zero pressure. راح ارجع ابللها واخليها هنا in this system, in this device. ونقفلها للسيستم مالتها, there is no leak. And then air pressure is imposed on the filter. راح اعبر من غاز. The valve is closed. راح امرر غاز من هنا. ايش راح يسوي هذا الغاز؟ It slightly increase. شوي نقوم زايدة until some of the gas can pressure can overcome the surface tension of the liquid inside the pores. Then the air is passed through the membrane, the tube passes through the filter membrane into a tube which is immersed in a bottle containing liquid. And when this gas passes من يوصل هنا إلى البottle containing liquid, then a bubble will start to appear. من تطلع الببل هذه معناها إنه the air is coming out of this through the solution. That's why it's called bubble point pressure. إذا مقدار الضغط اللي سلطناه من هنا will pass through the membrane pores, then it is called and form a bubble. It is called bubble point pressure. Each membrane has its own specific bubble point. طبعا طلعت فيهم جداول هذه جداول كبيرة إنه each one of these containing a specific bubble point pressure, which depend on what? On the type of liquid wetting the membrane and the pressure applied. Usually a test at a pressure of 20 pounds per square inch psi is usually sufficient to detect leaks. فلما يطلع عندي من هنا الببل هذا معناها انه this pressure is enough to overcome the surface tension and pass through. Now, which pressure is the best? Bubble point pressure for a given membrane is different for different liquids. The contact angle is changed with different liquids which we wet the membrane with. And filtration normally performed at a pressure lower than the bubble point of a membrane. يعني ايش قد يطلع عندنا الببل point pressure؟ احنا نشتغل الفلتريشن process بعدين at a pressure below the bubble point. ليش؟ شوية أقل من الببل point because below the bubble point there will be no excessive foam produced. معناها احنا الممبرين pores مالتنا is a good one. لما يطلع الببل بوينت مالتي بسرعة تطلع الببلز هذا معناها some of the pores is damaged or cracked أو عندي leak بالسيستم, then we cannot use this membrane. So usually filtration normally performed at a pressure lower than the bubble point of each membrane. This prevents gas from passing through the filter at the end of a filtration cycle and thereby prevents excessive foaming. لو احنا بدنا نسوي at the bubble point pressure وخلص الفلتريشن راح يصير عندي فوم رغوة بعدين من كثر البابلز اللي راح تتكون and this is not good. That's why we have to do it at a lower bubble point pressure. This bubble point is useful criterion for testing membrane efficiency. And it is non-destructive test that may be used without the loss of product or a break in sterility. This is one of the tests and it's important one. يعني نحن لازم نسوي البابل بوينت بريشر بعدين نسوي وياه diffusion test or flow forward test. Diffusion test, this is another integrity testing. This test is performed in high volume system. And we can use cartridge or multi-stack disc where a large volume of downstream liquid must be displaced before bubbles can be detected. And the benefit of this test is measure the volume of air that flows through a wet membrane from a pressurized site to atmospheric site. يعني هنا أنا ما عندي تيوب نازل بسوليوشن خاطر يصير عندنا ببل، ما عندي، وإنما كل ما هنالك أيضا أجيب الممبرين ويتد ممبرين نفس الديفايس هو، وراح أخليه وأسلط عليه الضغط وأشوف أقيس إيش قد كمية الهواء اللي طالعة، إيش قد هواء يطلع عندي من الجهة الثانية. And this test based on the theory that in a wet membrane, under pressure, the air flows through the water full force at differential pressures below the bubble point pressure of the filter by a diffusion process. It means that this test we do it at لازم نسوي البابل بوينت بريشر. عرفنا مثلا البابل بوينت يساوي 20 PSIG. شو نسوي الديفيوجن تيست؟ اسويه at a pressure below the bubble point بحوالي 80%. نريد نشيك جوا تحت البابل بوينت بريشر شو يصير؟ هماتنا راح يصير عندنا كراكس لو لا. The process follows fixed law of diffusion لأن اسمها diffusion process. Fixed law of diffusion, the filter is wetted in place with water or the membrane is tested after filtration. Pressure is applied for 2 minutes using air at 80% of the established bubble point pressure. إذن نثبت ايش قد أول مرة لازم نسوي التست الأولاني وبعدين نثبت من عنده ايش قد الببل بوينت استخدم هاي العملية بضغط يساوي 80% للببل بوينت بريشر من التست الأول. For a particular membrane فراح أسلط الضغط لمدة دقيقتين من خلال 80% bubble point pressure for particular membrane ونحسب ايش قد calculate the volume of air displaced is recorded ايش قد حجم الهواء اللي طلع عندي من اليوتيوب. Then we increase the pressure شوية شوية. احنا بدينا 80% أصعد until زي 2 PSI أصعد شوية شوية until we reach the bubble point pressure اللي هو حسبناه بالمرة الأولى as at an equilibrium or at an increment of 2 PSI. So if there is anything يعني عندي كمية الهواء اختلفت كل ما أزيد ال 2 PSI تختلف كمية الهواء اللي تطلع indicating damage membrane, wrong pore size filter, ineffective seal, system leak or a broad pore size distribution. يعني معناها ان الممبرين هذه ثالثة او انا عندي البور سايز مو صحيح مكتوب مثلا 0.2 هي غلط. الفيلينج is not a good one, there is a leak in the system or the pore size is not very well distributed. يعني اكو مكانات البور سايز مالتها اكبر من التثقيب من المكانات الاخرى in the same membrane sector. Forward flow test, the same idea as the first one, but in this case we will measure it at pressure much below than 80%. هو أقل من ال 80% عن bubble point. So this test is based upon measurement of diffusion rate of air through water in a wetted filter at a pressure well below the bubble point pressure. هناك 80% هنا أكثر من ذلك بعد. The following 3 kinds of tests can be performed but only 1 or 2 are sufficient. عادة نسوي 2 tests. يا إما bubble point test، طبعا هذا لازم نسوي bubble point، وراح نسوي low diffusion and forward test. إذا نجح إحنا نسوي 3 إذا نجح ب2 وفشل ب1 it's okay. بس إذا نجح بس ب1 منهم هذا معناها الممبرين أو هذا ما راح نستخدمه. So at least it should pass 2 out of 3. So measurement of forward flow of individual elements prior to assembly to their housing to verify the integrity of each element prior to use. Measurement of forward flow of the assembly with elements in place in the system before or after autoclaving by in situ steaming or by ethylene oxide, this is a gas, to verify the tightness of any valves in parallel with elements. Measurement of forward flow of assembly after completion of the filtration procedure to verify the integrity of the element during filtration. The mechanism of forward flow test. This test is performed by placing a given element in its holder and wetting the filter. A pre-selected air pressure is applied, and that pressure is much below the bubble point pressure, is applied to upstream side of the filter. The measurement of the total rate of airflow through the filter system is then made, and the quality acceptance level for a given filter is based on a maximum total airflow at which the filter appears empirically to retain all bacteria. This is the shape of the instrument for forward flow test. Now we go to another important topic, which is the filtration equipment and system used. We have commercial equipment, and هي التجارية التسويقية. Commercial equipment, filtration equipment, is classified either through type of deriving force, على أساس driving force، وهي أنواع gravity filtration equipment, pressure equipment, centrifugal or vacuum equipment. Or we can classifying according to the method of operation. So we have batch commercial equipment or continuous commercial equipment. Or we can classify it according to the end product desired. We have filtrate or cake solid. يعني اللي نريده هل هو الفلترate هل هو الكيك. Now, the clarification demands of pharmaceutical processes are usually met by batch pressure units. شنو يعني batch؟ عندنا هسه راح تجينا هواية يسموها batch or continuous. Batch, this is for small scale. Continuous, this is for large scale. Continuous for a long time to be used. So, usually clarification is met by batch pressure units. Compatibility with a wide range of products restricts materials of construction to stainless steel, glass, and inner polymers. We first talk about commercial equipment derived by gravity or derived by driving force, classified according to driving force. We said that we have gravity filter equipment which are common in water treatment. مثل ايش عندنا gravity filter equipment? We have sand filter used to clarify water prior to deionization or distillation or for special purposes. We have porous ceramics in the form of hollow candles for small scale purification of water. The fluid passes from the outside through the porous ceramics into the interior of the hollow candles. Another type of gravity can be is the tray and frame filter. هذه هنا مرسومة أول وحدة tray and flame and frame filter for slow difficult. طبعا هنا without pressure. احنا بدنا نحكي على أساس الجرافيتي. راح نشوف كيف شيء مشابه إلها بس by pressure. So this is tray and frame filter equipment according to gravity. This is for slow difficult filtration and for exponentially soft or fine grained precipitate, which clog under the slightest pressure or passes through the openings of the clog. يعني هاي نستخدمها لما يكون عندنا الفلتريشن كلش ناعم بحيث ممكن تنسد بسهولة تحت أي pressure. فنضطر نستخدم tray and frame filter which is processed by gravity. We have also gravity bag filters applied to concentration of magnets such as milk of magnesium. The gravity notches is false bottom tank or vessel with a support plate for filter media. For example, porcelain notches. They are not truly gravity filters since they are frequently operated under pressure of vacuum. أحيانا نستخدم هذه البورسلين ناتشز باي جرافيتي إذا المواد عندنا قلنا كلش تكون ناعمة بحيث can be clogged or clogged by any simple pressure applied. ولكن بشكل عام البورسلين تايب نستخدمها with pressure. Another type is vacuum filter. The application of negative pressure may suck microorganisms and some particles. It means that هنا بالفاكيوم فلتر we do not apply pressure. بالعكس احنا نسحب الهواء مفرغه negative pressure. يمكن انتم شايفيها بالبخنر فانل وغيرها. they apply a negative pressure، يعني يفرغوها من الهواء خاطر تنزل، ولكن هذه عادة لا تستخدم for sterile filtration because the negative pressure it may suck down some microorganisms and therefore it's not good for sterile filtration، بس ممكن نستخدمها for non-sterile filtration. We have for example continuous vacuum filter and continuous drum filter system. Continuous vacuum filter handle high dirt clouds on a volume basis and are cheap in terms of cost and gallon of filter fluid. Continuous drum filter هذه أشكال مجرد المسطوانات أو على شكل vacuum filter واحد مرتبط بالآخر. Continuous drum system, vacuum is applied to the drum and the fluid flows through the continuous belt. Solids are collected at the ends of the belt، يعني ممكن نستخدمها for cake filtration، نقدر نستخدمها for clarification but it is not used for sterile filtration. Pressure filtration equipment. This handle large quantities of material to accelerate the filtration process. For all type of filtration can be applied, even for viscous liquid and soft particle liquid. And we have many types. X-ray filtration process, it is done by pressure filter. So we have a plate and a frame filter, a pressure, assembly of hollow frames and solid plates that support filter media. It is the simplest of all pressure filter and it is the most widely used one. It is of high degree of clarification for batch model of a fluid and for harvesting the cake، يعني ممكن نستخدمها for clarification and for cake filtration. هذه تشوفوها، هذا this is the plate and the frame، they are assembled one over the other and there is a hollow between them. هذه من الداخل، هذه هي الجهاز الكلي مالته. It is used for multi-stage filtration within a single press and for coarse to fine filtration. The advantage is that most economical filter per unit of the filtering surface and material of construction choosing to suit any process conditions. But it has a labor cost، يعني مكلفة شوية، لكن هذه this is the frame and the plate. This is the frame. الفريم يعني هذا الشكل البناني. And the plate واحد يصفطه فبالخ الشكل على شكل هلو بيناتهم، يعبر من خلاله الليكويد and the cake will be deposited on this plate. So they can remove the cake and they can obtain the filtrate at the end. The flow rate حوالي 3 gallons per minute per square feet of filter surface at a pressure of up to 25 psi pound square inch، يعني يتحمل ضغط إلى حد 25 psi ويفلتر بحدود 3 gallons. There is a disc filter also، نفس الحالة أيضا pressure filter بس مصفطة على شكل disc. You can see it here to the right. هنا أنا عندي على شكل disc، وحدة مصفطة فوق الأخ أصغر تاخذ حجم أصغر هذه، بس هي نفس الفكرة. Overcome the efficiency of filter press. The advantage the compactness، يعني مترابطة أكثر ماكو بيناتها اللي. Portability لأن أصغر حجما. clean lens ما تحتاج حتى تتنظف، ممكن رأسا نبدلها. Used for pharmaceutical badge operation and also intended for clarification operation. أقدر استخدمها for badge يعني small scale، وأقدر استخدمها for clarification and cake filtration. The composition silver paper disc sealed into a pressure case pre-assembled into a self-supporting unit, or each disc may rest on an individual screen or plate. Single plate or multiples of single plates may be applied. The mechanism, the flow from inside out or from outside to in. ممكن نشغلهم بالطرفين، يعني للعكس في الاتجاه المعاكس وصاير احنا نفس الشيء. Fluid flows from the outside along the thin flow channel in the plate. The filtrate flows along similar channels in the bottom plate and then to the inside circumference. The flow rate, this can work at a pressure up to 50 psi. يتحمل ضغط هذول أعلى من الplate and the frame. We have another one called pre-coat pressure filter. This is designed to use filtrate and disposable of caking and cleaning. It the same idea. أيضا راح نخلي pressure وراح نجيب البليتات مالتنا راح نحطها horizontally or vertically and then we apply a filter A. هي already نجيبها coated with filter A ما نحتاج نخلطها. The mechanism it consists of one or more leaves, plates or tubes upon which a coat of filter A is deposited to form the filtering surface. كنا نشيل هي filter A. This will help to give us a good porosity in the cake and to have a steady state flow rate filtration. من العوامل المساعدة. فهذه already هو pre-coated نجيبها جاهزة. Enclosed within a horizontal or vertical tank and special arrangement permits discharge of cake by backsplash, the air, displacement, vibration or centrifugal action. It is used for high volume filtration process. 2 or more units used alternatively يعني ممكن نشكل بالضبط مترابطة or search tank for clear filtrate may permit intermittent operation of a single unit. Cartridge pressure filter. This is another type of pressure filter. We have old cartridge filters and new cartridge filters. The old cartridge filters had an integral cylindrical centrifugation made with disposable or cleanable filter media and utilize either plastic or metal structural hardware. احنا تكلمنا عن الكارتريج مسبقا as a filter medium وحكينا انواعها وادفانتج والديسادفانتج مالتها. This is the equipment اللي بدنا نستخدمها فيها pressure and cartridge type. The new cartridge filters strong cleatable membranes. cleatable يعني تنطوي قابل ان تنطوي مثل cellulose, nitrate, polyamide, polyvinylidene, chloride, PTFE and nylon. It has advantages that it provides maximum filtration area in the smallest possible package, allows quick change out of the media and saves time and money. It is used for large scale filtration. They are either disposable or permanent filter. ممكن permanent filter يعني نغسلها ونرد نرجعها مرة ثانية. Also there is metallic type which is easily cleaned and saves time and labor. Cartridge filters of different shapes, structures, forms and sizes for different applications in the pharmaceutical industry in disposable and non-disposable forms. The housing for cartridge filters are described in terms of height of the cartridge and in number of cartridge receptacles in the base and in the basis end of the housing for both micron and submicron filtration. The major differences in various housings is the design, materials of construction, seals that are used to install the cartridge in the housing. The cartridge is the filter. The housing هي الفريم يعني الحامل اللي نقعد به الكارتridge حتى لا ينكسر او لا يتلف. وهاي الكارتridges هي كلش هواية تستخدم بالحقيقة لأنه can be reused again ومن عندها أكو disposable أو منها ممكن نستخدمها again and again. So you can see this is how the cartridge, a new cartridge can be applied. الأشكال مالتها على يمينك ممكن أشكال tubes ممكن أشكال مختلفة. Filter media can be formed into a cartridge formed by either tubular wand يعني أسويها على شكل cartridge, either tubular wand يعني محزوز هالشكل على شكل تيوبات, string wand or pleated formation يعني مطوية أنبوبية مطوية أو بدك تكون على شكل حلقية. Alternate layers of filter media and separator material are rolled into a spiral configuration and by putting the ends of the cartridge form the dead-ended or cross-flow type of flow channels. String wound cartridge most commonly used and it is inexpensive filter. Pleated cartridge اللي فيها طاويات هذه modified tubular centrifugation with large filtration area. A single knife edge flat gasket seal for cartridge filter with 1 micron or large pore size. 0 ring seal for submicron filtration. Now, disposable or permanent cartridge filters are used for fluid clarification or sterilization. Single cartridge, non-sterile filtration may be integrated between cartridge holders. Multiple cartridge increases in capacity resulted from multi-unit elements. 12 element units are usually adequate for batches of 500 to 1,000 gallons. Disposable cartridges, saving in the simplicity of gathering and cleaning of cartridge clarifiers. Permanent cartridges highly ممكن انه يستخدموها ويغسلوها ويستخدموها again and again. This is either metallic edge filter plus self-cleaning devices. They are excellent security filters for suspension. A cleaning blade comes away accumulated solids which fall into a sump or sink in the filter casing. We have also quick coupling metal cartridge filter with a construction that prevents short-circuiting of the filter elements. The special design permits rapid assembly, disassembly, as well as interchange of reusable filter media. Metal elements permit particle retention as low as 1.5 microns. We have also DO filter. 2 units connected in parallel are recommended where an interrupt circuit is required. Now we go to the membrane filter and housing. This membranes and holder حكينا طبعا عليها. احنا حكينا على الاكويبمنت في البداية. هسه راح نحكي على الهولدرز مالتها. Membrane filter holders accept membranes from 13 to 293 millimeter diameter or 90 to 142 millimeter units are suitable for moderate volumes. 293 millimeter membrane holder for small batch sizes. Stainless steel membrane holder, stainless steel holder for the sterilizing filter have sanitary connections, and the support screens are placed with Teflon to permit autoclaving with membrane in place. Special compatibility problems may require polyvinyl chloride holders with stainless steel supports or units that have only Teflon or polypropylene contact parts. These are the holders, these are the housings for the membrane filters. Now, equipment for cake filtration, in which the solid is the aim. So cake filtration, in which solid recovery is the goal in pharmaceutical process. We have 2 types of cake filtration equipment. We have batch and continuous. In a batch, and here for a small scale usually, and continuous it is for large scale. The batch type includes plate and frame press and pre-post pressure filter. and تشوفون هنا قسم من الأنواع من الفلترز هذه it will be repeated again. يعني ممكن نستخدمها for clarification, ممكن نستخدمها for cake filtration, ممكن نستخدمها even for sterilization إذا استخدمنا الممبرين filter. So one of the cake filtration equipment is a plate and frame press اللي حكيناها مسبقا. pre-post pressure filter أيضا حكيناها مسبقا. It is restricted to batch operation and recovery of moderate weight of expensive materials. Use of clarification and solid recovery. For large scale operation اللي هو continuous, we can use continuous vacuum filter, which is rotary drum vacuum filter. This is not used for sterile filtration but for non-sterile one, and it is divided into sections, each connected to a discharge head. The mechanism for this operation of continuous vacuum filter is the slurry is fed to a tank in which solids are held in suspension by an agitator. As the drum rotates, each section passes through the slurry, and vacuum draws filtrate through a filter medium at the drum surface. هذه هنا الرسم مالتها بالشكل هذا تشوفوه هنا. هذا الشيء تقريبي، وهنا هي الرسم مالتها الجهاز شلون يشتغل. The suspended solid deposit on the filter drum as a cage, and as the rotation continues, the vacuum holds the cage at the drum surface. The cage is washed. ممكن ياخذوها by knives or knives, or they can wash it away and dried as it moves toward the discharge point. It may be scrapped from the drum, or it may be supported by a string until it breaks free under gravitational forces. So there's always a knife that rotates over these layers that to scrap away the cake, or we can wait until it is accumulated in a large quantity and it will come down by gravitational forces. This is the representative diagram for rotary vacuum filtration. Filtering centrifuge, solid recovery, also for cake filtration. The goal of the filtration, centrifugal forces is used to affect the passage of the liquid through the filter media. And the advantage of such type of equipment can be used for filtration of even very fine particles. This device is fitted with a perforated basket which supports the filter media, and the basket revolves inside the casing. Slurry is sprayed into the basket, and whose centrifugal action forces the filtrate through the media on which the cake deposits. بالضبط تشبه عملية السنتريفيكيشن اللي انتم شايفيها بالمختبرات، بس طبعا هذه على مستوى أكبر على مصانع، بس هي نفس الايديا. Continuous discharge of solids is possible, that bad units that require shutdown for removal of solid are also common. ممكن نطفي ونشيل الكيك، أو ممكن نخلي continuous removal of the cake without shutting down the operation. Now we will talk about something called membrane ultrafiltration. and بالمحاضرة الأولى نوهت عليها. قلنا أكو membrane filtration و membrane ultrafiltration. Ultrafiltration is a process of selective molecular separation, removing dissolved molecules on the basis of membrane size and centrifugation by passing a solution under pressure through a very fine filter. ايش تفرق هذه؟ انه انا بدي اسوي سيبريشن الماده على اساس الموليكولار سايز مالتها على حسب الحجم. هاي عاده للبروتينز نستخدمها والدي ان اي الى اخره. The benefit is to retain more macromolecules while allowing smaller molecules and the solvent to pass through the membrane. Also, separation of a solvent and a solute of different molecular size by selecting a membrane that allows the solvent but not the solute to pass through. And it's applicable, or we can apply a hydraulic pressure, reverses the normal process of osmosis so that the membrane acts as a molecular screen through which only those molecules below a certain size are allowed to pass. So the aim is to separate according to their molecular size. The difference between microfiltration or membrane filtration and membrane ultrafiltration is that the former الأولاني membrane filtration is to remove the microorganisms and particulates, while ultrafiltration is to separate the molecules according to their molecular size. So it is similar to reverse osmosis. شنو هي reverse osmosis؟ هي dialysis. It is similar to reverse osmosis أو نسميها dialysis. Both filter on the basis of molecular size. But ultrafiltration is different from reverse osmosis in that it does not separate on the basis of ionic rejection. هاي اللي تشتغل عليها dialysis. But both of them, dialysis أو يسموها reverse osmosis and ultrafiltration, يتشابهون بنقطة واحدة إنه it depends on the separation of molecules. But ultrafiltration is different in that it does involve the application of pressure. With ultrafiltration, we have to apply pressure. The selectivity and retentivity of a membrane are characterized by molecular weight cutoff, configuration of the molecule, and electrical charge. Ultrafiltration membranes available as flat sheet, fluted cartridges, fluted قلنا هاي المطواية هالشكل, or hollow fiber. Industrial use of this procedure followed by the development of anisotropic polymer membranes in a variety of biological inert non-cellulosic materials. These membranes are fragile structures and are usually require a backing plate of porous material to withstand operational pressure. يعني عادة نحتاج لها housing أو holder. During the processing of a solution, a region of high solute concentration also develops at the surface of the membrane, resisting further passage of the solvent. يعني حتى هذه بها مشاكل، نعم تتجمع وبالتالي راح يصير عندنا الفلتريشن بطيئة. Providing support for the membrane on overcoming concentration polarization through shear effects, a wide variety of commercial apparatus is produced, including tangential flow, cascade system, process ultrafiltration cartridge, hollow fiber beaker, and colloidine valve. هذه أنواع مختلفة من الالترافلتريشن ممبرين اللي ممكن نشوفها. هذه راح نشوف الرسومات مالتها مثل ما مطلوب منك من نوع، ولكن هذه هي الأشكال المختلفة للأشكال من الأنواع من الالترافلتريشن processes used. The application of ultrafiltration in pharmaceutical industry. فش نستفاد منها من هاي الالترافلتريشن بالindustrial pharmacy? It is used for filtration of heat labile products such as vaccine, virus preparations, and immunoglobulins, to recover antibiotics, hormones, or vitamins from fermentation broth, to separate cells from fermentation broth, to clarify solutions, to remove low molecular weight contaminants prior to using conventional recovery techniques, and the most important one is to remove pyrogens لأنه على أساس molecular separation. This is very important, especially for injectable preparation, to remove pyrogen, and this is the best method to remove pyrogen from contaminated solutions. إلى حد هنا خلصنا من ال filtration process، وإن شاء الله نقدر ندخل في